In this week's Torah portion, we go on further to learn more about Abraham. Abraham was chosen to be a blessing to the nations, and that is also our job. It's to be a blessing unto others. Abraham was obedient to God, and he was also called a friend of God. Then God came to Abraham and said that he is going to take firestone and brimstone and is going to destruct this city called Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah was a very unrighteous city, and they did wicked things, things that were not according to God's will. But Abraham still interceded and prayed for them and asked God to save the people that were righteous in this city. Abba listened to Abraham, and therefore his nephew Lot and his family were saved. But Lot's wife turned around and she looked again at Sodom and Gomorrah, and she turned into a statue. This teaches us not to go back to our past and where we came from. But then also, God gave the promise to Abraham that he would have a son, and that his offspring would be blessed. Abraham taught this to his son Isaac, and when God said that Isaac was supposed to be an offering unto him, Isaac and Abraham were obedient. But as they were there and they built an altar for Isaac to be sacrificed, the angel of the Lord appeared just before Abraham had to sacrifice Isaac, and he said, "Stop, don't do this, because the Lord sees your obedience and he has provided for you." Then, when Abraham and Isaac looked in a bush, there was a lamb, and this lamb was a ram, and it was caught in a bush. Then they took this ram and they offered this unto God instead of Isaac. This is a very special picture of what Yeshua would come and do for us. He was the perfect lamb that was slain for us and our sin, so that we can become righteous and stand before God and talk before God and talk with God, just like Abraham did, and therefore we are called his friend. Then furthermore, we read about a woman, a widow, that did not have enough money. And she talked to Elijah, the prophet, and she told him about her problem. He said that she was supposed to go and fetch a jar and fill this jar with oil, and that this jar that she would pray over and that he would pray over would be a blessing, and that this jar would never run dry again. She then was able to sell all the oil that came from this jar. She filled a lot of jars, and this was a miracle because her jar never got empty. This teaches us as well that in the Bible it says that we have to have our lamps filled with oil. The oil that is in this lamp is the Word of God. That means we must fill our hearts with the Word of God each and every day, so that when difficult times come and when the end times come and Yeshua comes to fetch us, and it might be difficult times for us, we know that we can stand on the Word, we can proclaim the Word, and we know that that will help us in this difficult time. Therefore, I want to help you and to urge you that you must keep your lamps full of the Word of God and do what is right in His eyes.